Can either of you guys just kind of give me a little like summary of what y'all remember from the last time?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Um, just like Hannah was praying a lot to the Lord because she wanted to get pregnant, 'cause she wanted a baby so bad. And
Hmm.
um, I guess the Lord was just like testing her faith, like kind of like Job, if she was gonna be obedient. And when she
Mm.
fully surrendered and gave it all to the Lord, she got pregnant and had a baby. And she promised that if she got a baby, that she would give it back to the Lord, right? Or something like
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
I guess she would just, I don't know, like visit him in the temple or what. And I know she had more kids after that. That's all I know.
Okay. Okay. Mom, what about you?
I have it on me because the girls are really loud. But I think just the part where we went to Ecclesiastics and they talked about the weeping and the laughing, the mourning and the dancing.
Yeah.
That was something I remember.
Okay. Okay. Um, One thing I guess that I'm really gonna point out there, from Hannah, she really had to come to a full surrenderance to God, because of the things that were on her life. It really brought her to that point of full surrenderance. But she was able to get out of it by confessing and opening up her mouth and just expressing to God everything that was in her heart. She did pray to him. She was fasting during this time. Um, and then, of course, God started to hear her and remember her, and then started to help her, I guess, get in this now new season of change and blessings that are about to come upon her, with her, I guess, about to have a son now. She's seeing a total different transformation within herself. She was slain in the spirit when she was, confessing herself and just, giving pouring her heart out to Christ. Um, that's something that I want to point out. Like when we do come at that low point, God does hear us when we're in prayer and we're asking for Him to, forgive us of our sins. Um, Once he hears us, there will be a total transformation within us. And it can last, for a few minutes, or it can last that night. You'll see the transformation the next day. And then you'll become a new person. You'll have a new mindset. Um, once God, I guess, brings you out of where you are. So, that's just something that I wanted to remember, let you guys remember. Um, so now we go um, to verse 19. The title is Samuel was born and dedicated. So let me get the screen there. Um, and I guess if Angie, if you can read that first paragraph real quick, I'll have you
Okay.
guys take turns reading.
19 through what?
Um,
20.
20, yeah, just read that first paragraph.
Okay. Early the next morning, they arose and worshiped before the Lord, and then went back to their home at Ramah.
Yeah, Rama.
And then, oh, Elkanah, I'm not sure. Elkanah made love to his wife, Hannah, and the Lord remembered her. So, in the course of time, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked the Lord for him."
Hmm. So now we see that the Lord remembered her as soon as she got intimate with her husband. the Lord remembered her and answered her prayer immediately. And then it came to pass. And then when we look at came to pass, it means God started to unfold his plan right then and there. He just got her out of her weeping season into her new blessed season. She's about to have her son. So, and during that time of, like, we can't see what's happening, but we need to know within our spirit that God is doing something within us that we can't even see. So we need to focus on the unseen rather than the physical and know that God is answering our prayers in the spirit. And then let me see if there is anything else. Yeah, that was it from that paragraph. Um, all right. I'll read this next one real quick. Now the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer to the Lord the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah did not go up, for she said to her husband, not until the child is weaned, then I will take him that he may appear before the Lord and remain there forever. Um, so when I saw the word weaned, um, it reminded me like when we was talking about in maybe First Corinthians, I'm not even sure, but in the New Testament, it talks about, how us as Christians, we have to be milked first before we can actually go out there and start ministering to others. We have to first grow within ourselves. And then once we've got ourselves and we're able to understand and we're mature in our spirit, then at that point we can start eating the meat, and then we can start preaching or whatever it is that God has called us to do. But first there is a process before we actually do anything. We have to have that childlike mindset and know that we need to be taught first. We need to know right from wrong before we just go out there and maybe evangelize or whatever it is, like I said, that God has called us to do. And then it said that he may appear before the Lord. And so when I saw the word appear, it reminded me like of just being seen by the Lord, or being revealed or being uncovered. This is our time that God will see us for who we are in him. And then we will remain there forever. So once God sees us in his presence, we want to remain there with him spiritually, with like in eternity, like Christ has promised us that we will be with him eternally. Okay, so the next one, 23. Mom, can you read that small paragraph?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see, where are we at? We're on 23.
Yeah.
So Elkanah, her husband, said to her, do what seems best to you. Wait until you have weaned him. Only let the Lord establish his word. Then the woman stayed and nursed her son until he had weaned him. She had weaned him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when she had weaned him,
Hold
she
on,
took.
Mom. Just read that paragraph for now.
Okay.
So I want to go back to where it said her husband responded when she said that she wants to wait until he's weaned off. And then her husband replied, only let the Lord establish his word. So when he speaks, he needs to speak nothing but what the Lord has put in him to say. So he is now staying with his mom and he's being nursed, which is being taught pretty much the word of God that God has been teaching them. Then now the mother is putting that same things that she's been taught inside of her son. So that's what we're supposed to be doing now, you know. Anything that we're learning, we're supposed to be teaching our kids the same thing so that way they can grow up knowing who the Lord is and who they are in Christ. So her son is being taught the word of God. So now, once he's able to be weaned off of her, his word is going to be firm in God. He's going to know it, like he's not going to be unshakable. He's not going to be able to be moved from where he's at. He's going to know who he is. He's going to be planted in the word and he's going to be able to have authority because he's going to know how to use his authority. So he is being taught really spiritual while he's with his mom. And that's crazy because I feel like, you know, even though it doesn't talk about a lot about Mary, but I feel like Mary probably was doing the same thing for Jesus. She probably either sent him somewhere where he can learn, or she was doing the teaching at home. And we have to be doing the same thing nowadays because I feel like a lot of us have maybe drifted off and not doing that, but we need to come back to that so that way our kids can start passing whatever we know down to them. And I'm glad that God has got me out of where I am. So that way my daughter at 5 years old can start praying over herself, can start praying over her school, or anything that comes against her. She knows how to rebuke anything that's coming against her. Like I'm teaching my daughter now at 5 years old how to do these things. And so that way when she's ready and she is away from me, she knows how to do these things on her own. Do any of you guys want to like maybe give your own little maybe testimony of maybe what your kid has done or what have you been teaching your kids?
No, I feel like Reagan does a lot of learning in school as well, not just here at home.
That's good.
She'll come home and tell me things that she learned, and I'm like, what? I mean, like, that's crazy because, you know, you're in school, but yet you're learning about God at the same time.
Mm.
And I don't know if I told y'all, but about a month ago, we were in bed and we woke up and she said, Mommy, I saw Jesus and he came and he was talking to me.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was? And she's like, yeah. Like she was really excited.
Mm.
But
So
yeah.
my son was little, probably like y'all's kids' age or 7. I was washing dishes in my apartment, my other apartment, and he goes, Mom, Jesus is behind you. And I was like, I didn't want to turn around. And I was like, oh yeah, then what is he wearing? He goes, he's super tall and he has like a white robe with sandals. And
Wow.
I never turned around. I just kept
Uh,
washing dishes.
Wow.
uh-uh.
But he
Yeah.
was little, like, I don't know, maybe in first grade.
Uh-huh. You know,
Yeah.
kids have, I believe they have eyes to see Jesus. Things that we can't see,
Yes.
I think they do have spiritual eyes because they're so young and they're innocent.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that God does reveal himself to them.
Yeah, and since an early age he could identify like witchcraft, even though he doesn't really identify it with that rebellious is, but that's a whole nother story. And he'll be like, oh, she has that little eye thing, that's witchcraft. Or look, they're doing the egg, praying with the egg, that's witchcraft. Like he can recognize the witchcraft.
Wow. That's good because he knows right from wrong, you know?
Yeah. And like not only that, like some other stuff, or like sage, he goes, because I was looking at sage and rosemary. I don't know where we're at a store, and he goes, look, people use that for witchcraft. I'm like, how do you know this? I never told him that. I don't know. Maybe online or something.
Well, I feel like when you have the spirit in you, you
Hmm.
just know what's good and what's bad for you, or what you can
Yeah,
get into, what you can't get into. Because that's how I felt as soon as God got me out of where I was. At that point, I just started doing a cleanse on everything. Like I got rid of everything that I didn't need or
that's
that I
good.
felt like, was just bad. I got rid of everything. So
That's true.
I feel like, yeah, he may have had the spirit on him, and the spirit knows what is holy and what is not holy.
Yeah. And like I had a friend a long time ago, she told me this was before I was like into the things of Christ and I was still worldly. She goes, "There's something in your apartment that you need to get rid of that some guy must have given you." I was like, "I don't know. I don't have anything. Everything I have here I bought myself." And I started looking and digging and digging and digging, and it was like a jacket, like an outfit, so I threw it away.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's crazy. I mean, you never know what people will try and put on you, by the things that they
Yeah.
give you. And you don't need those soul ties
Mm-mm.
connected to you.
I threw it with the quickness.
Yeah. So I would away, burn it. Get rid of it.
Hmm. Burn it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, all right, let's go to verse 24. Um, Now when she had weaned him, she took him up with her. So now that he's fully mature, she took him up with her with three bulls, one ephah of flour and skin of wine, and brought him to the house of the Lord in Shiloh.
Shouldn't.
Um, So another thing that I went ahead and kind of looked over was the offerings. When they brought those offerings, what kind of offerings were they? And what did they mean to them during that time? So when I went back to go and look, I found it in Leviticus. I can't remember what chapter it was, but um one of them was the burnt offering, which is the bulls. That's the offering of sin. It's a purification offering to make an atonement and to make possible fellowship with a holy God. This was one of the free wills that God gave them to do. So not everybody had to do this. This was your choice to do if you wanted to do it. God didn't force you to do it. So it's kind of like, right now, if you want to go and surrender, you have a choice to go and surrender or not. So that was something that they did, but they did it with a bull because they didn't have Jesus Christ then.
Hmm.
Um, This brought complete devotion and dedication to life with God. So this was a way for them to show that they wanted to devote themselves to God, to really submit to Him. And then it showed the flour, which it didn't have to be like flour, but it was like a grain instead. So the grain actually is considered, let me see, the um, most holy like offering that they could offer. This was something that was required if you were if you were going to do like a burnt offering or a peace offering. This was something that you had to do when you did the other ones. So when you do a grain offering, it's like getting some of like the dirt off of the ground, putting it in something sacred, consecrating it because you want to dedicate whatever that piece of soil or whatever it is that you have, make it holy, and then when you're ready to go and actually offer it to God, he considers it holy and without sin. So this was a way for them to show